Hey, what's up, Mental Health Nation? Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. It's been a great, fun week so far. Hope you guys have had a great weekend last weekend, enjoying your week this week so far. Here in Italy, we've had some pretty horrendous thunderstorms this morning, but it's kind of going into the rainy season, so that's kind of normal. But before we jump into all that, and Lynn's got some good updates, and we got Chris Baker on today. He's going to tell us about his golf tournament last week. It's going to be a fun show, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But I got the QR code up there on the upper left-hand corner for Reach Across America. That you can scan that code. You can donate as little as $5 to ensure the veterans have those wreaths put on their grave sites, during the holiday season. Such an important program they do, and I'm so proud to be proud of that. And along with that, as you know, Reach Across America Radio replays the podcast at Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. You should download the iHeartRadio app, the iTunes app, or the Odyssey app. Search for Reach Across America Radio, and you'll hear my programming along with all the other great programming they have. And as you can see, we have all the other QR codes around us, and I'll let Chris talk about those because he can talk about those more in detail than I can. And of course, we have the favorite 10th Mountain Whiskey and Spirit up there in the right-hand corner. And I will tell you that the Italians out here are slowly getting addicted to that bourbon. Can't get good bourbon out here, and I'm telling you what, they are really starting to enjoy it. So I may have to figure out a way to get bourbon shipped to me over here. I don't know if that's going to be possible or not. But with that, Lynn, you had some special things going on. So why don't you update everybody what you've been up to? And I know you've been super busy with stuff, and happy to have you all back on the show today. You missed it last week. They weren't able to be on. They were busy. And I had some stuff that I wanted to get off my chest. So appreciate that. And let's update what's been going on, man.
I'm happy you're able to get all that stuff off your chest. I don't talk about this a lot on the show, but I'm still a public servant. So I still work for the government. I'm a GS employee, still under oath. So I'm still helping the American people. So one of the really cool, rewarding things with my job is that I get to work with various different public housing authorities around the state of Florida. And so the Public Housing Authority in Tallahassee has been working on this huge project for the last 5 years. And Chris, if you could put up those photos, you can see that I went for a ribbon cutting ceremony. And so what they did was, I think they created 210 more units of affordable housing in the city of Tallahassee, in our state capital. So what this means is that they have teamed up with not only city officials, but county officials, state officials, and federal level. So it's a true joint effort for everyone to come through and to provide these up-to-date luxury style apartments. Some of the good things about my job is that I get to help those who are in need, especially veterans. And so for the veterans out there that are struggling, or if you know a homeless veteran, we have a very great program called the VASH program. And so those VASH vouchers are for veteran. You go to the Veterans Affair, you find yourself a caseworker, and they will hook you up and pretty much hold your hand through every step of the way with applications and trying to get into housing. So this right here with Tallahassee opens up so much more housing for families. Not only that, it's luxury apartments in the south side of Tallahassee, which used to be known as the bad side. But now they're moving on up. And so that was their the whole theme was moving on up, which was great. So delegates from Washington, D.C. came, and then dozens of elected officials were there. So pretty much the whole city office was out there, along with the police chiefs. And it was such a good celebration and just a good thing for the community. So that's one of the highlights that I do with my job. So I don't necessarily get my hands dirty. I kind of just oversee different programs that different housing authorities are doing around the state of Florida. So that's what I'm up to.
But that's really amazing work, and that's something that a lot of people don't see behind the scenes of what goes on, and how long it takes, and all the people involved to make that happen. Because it's not easy to do. I mean, you got contracts, you got to get it built, you got programs to help with the funding, and then you got veterans to get the word out there so they can know that they can apply for this and to get this, and it's pretty amazing.
And then not only that, every housing authority only has a limited amount of vouchers. That doesn't mean that you can't port into a different city or try to transfer to a different city. If you're working with your caseworker, they can help you find an opening anywhere. You just have to have that open mind to be able to relocate to whatever part that is of whatever city or state that you're in. And so I do want to give out that phone number for the National Homeless Veteran Call Center, which is 877-4 AID, AID vet. So, and if you call there, they'll hook you up with a VA staff member 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not only that, if you have a disability, there's special disability vouchers as well.
No.
So there's special disability vouchers. We have house choice vouchers, which is pretty much Section 8. And then we have public housing, which we would call the projects. But now the projects, right? So like they don't look like the projects anymore. They look like the luxury apartments like that. Or for instance, here we have some that are in Jack's Beach. So near the beaches. So it just depends where you're located at, what you can find out there.
I guess I didn't know there was a difference between Section 8 and what was the other housing you said?
So there's Section 8 is a housing choice voucher, and Section 8 is they call it Section 8 because it's part of the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 8 of that. And I believe it's like under Section 9 now. Don't quote me on that. But that's where they give you a voucher, and you can find like a landlord to give you prorated housing or subsidized housing.
Yeah, Virginia has a similar program like that.
The federal government like foots most of the bill, and you only pay towards whatever income you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we do tax credited a lot here in Virginia, so you can only make so much money to live in these places, and then they get the rest of it subsidized by the government.
Yeah.
Now, here's another thing. I know a lot of people try to work under the table. I think a lot of housing authorities are starting to change their admin policies, where they're also looking at Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Pay.
Wow.
Those are bank accounts now. They've got routing numbers that you can have your check direct deposit. Cash App was trying to get me to direct deposit my check to them. They're like, we'll give you an extra $300.
Yeah,
it's a bank account.
They have the prepaid, so they're prepaid cards or bank accounts now. But they look into that also. So I mean, just beware. You can't get over on the system like that anymore. But yeah, so Section 8 and projects are two different things. Projects is public owned housing. For instance, like those apartments, the city or the Tallahassee Authority actually owns that. So even though Tallahassee Housing Authority is a city, it's still under our federal government. So it's kind of like federal also. So they get federal funding for that. So that's the difference.
That's pretty amazing. I think that, for a lot of veterans out there listening, for some that you are homeless, I think that's important because I'm going to assume, and step out on a limb here, but every state has a program similar to that. And probably calling that 877, but they could probably help you out no matter what.
It's a federally run program, and it's from Congress. So the funds are from Congress. They have a really big budget. So just depending on what state you're in, I would contact, if I was looking for housing or in between housing, or I couldn't afford anything, I would contact every state and just to better me, I mean, here in Northeast Florida is that I oversee a lot of those programs here. There's so many vacancies and there's no waiting lists. Whereas big cities, of course, are going to have the big waiting lists, but the small towns, or BFE, if you would, they don't really have waiting lists. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, if you really need that housing, and you're willing to move, Northeast Florida, they have some. So Northwest Florida, I would say. Sorry, Northeast Florida is where I'm at. Northwest Florida and the Panhandle, where they're about to get hit by the hurricane.
I was going to ask about that. I just heard about the hurricane. I've kind of lost sight of the weather in the States, but
I know
was talking about the hurricane.
I know recently Virginia came out with a statement that said they actually have housing for every homeless veteran in the state.
Oh,
There
wow.
is, and like that's,
and it's an actual house too. Like, I mean, I think it's like a 1-bedroom tiny home,
Mhm.
But still,
full-fledged
I mean,
house
you know,
for any veteran.
wow.
So there's several, right? There, I think they also have one in Savannah, Georgia, that they have one. And I forget, some celebrity built it. But either way, every state there's enough housing to go around if you're willing to relocate
Yeah.
to BFE.
Yeah,
So
well,
if
I know these were actually in like the Richmond area.
Mhm.
I want to say it was the VA clinic down there, Hunter
Yeah.
Holmes McGuire, built like a whole little town right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
The problem is the turnover, right? So the problem is keeping veterans, especially with our, our mental health and the extra care that we do need. Some veterans need that hand holding. Some veterans need to make sure to follow up with their caseworker. Not only that, follow up with the VA and continue their health care.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, you don't continue your health care, you go down a spiral, and then you drop out of the system and you're back on the street. So it's just a matter of having that will to continue to do that. And unfortunately, there's a lot of vets out there who just give up, that are like, if it, I'll be on the streets. It's just having that will, having that patience to go through the system. And we all know how it's like to go through the system, especially claiming our disability. So we all know
You
what it's
served
like.
in the military. You know how it is to go through the system.
Sometimes and it's not going to be an overnight process. It's sometimes it takes a while. So it's all about hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Never get away from it.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
But so segueing to the hurricane Helene, I saw predictions about it last week, but it's for sure now that it's going to turn into a major hurricane. So right now they're predicting Cat 3, and it's going to hit the northwest corner of Florida, so like Panama City Beach, Destin, and then below in the little corner area, and then go diagonal. Of course, we always get hit in Jacksonville, so it's going to go up that way, and then whatever trajectory. And of course, we've seen spaghetti models where it could go any trajectory.
The most recent one, they're predicting all the way into Illinois and still being a severe tropical storm.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty amazing.
so
Might be able to pull some up on that while you guys are talking.
So is it going to go up and around by Panama City and up that way?
Yeah. Well, it's
Okay.
Well, Florida is not that wide of a state anyway. So when a hurricane comes, that's a significant size. It could hit Panama City, but then it could also hit Central Florida and then Northeast Florida. So it just depends on what category it is and then what the trajectory is. So yeah,
that's what we're looking at right now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's still going to be a tropical depression all the way into Indiana and Illinois.
Wow,
which means these states which are not used to that kind of weather, they're going to get fucked up. Sorry, messed up. Yep.
Well, I mean, because they're used to tornadoes and things like that. I mean, but with tropical storms, you get a lot of heavy rains and the wind.
You get
tornadoes with them too.
You get tornadoes with those too. Mm-hmm. What was it? The most recent F5 that rolled through, or Cat 5 that rolled through Florida, spawned a ton of tornadoes and jacked everything up.
2 years ago. I was here. I forget which one it's called. There's so many every year that we go.
Were you in Florida at that time 2 years ago? Then
I had to repair. I had to get my fence done. So by the time it hit
this is the one that was down in Port St. Lucie area.
Yeah, Port St. Lucie and Fort Myers and all that. Mm-hmm. And so by the time it hit Fort Myers and Port St. Lucie, it was a Cat 5, but it was so huge that we were getting the outer bands, and it was still a Cat 1.
Yeah, it was massive, it spawned a ton of tornadoes.
Oh yeah. If there's a hurricane or tropical storm, you already automatically know there's going to be tornadoes. There's going to be water spouts.
Well, in the Midwest, we're used to tornadoes, so we can handle tornadoes. It's all the other stuff that goes along with the tropical storm.
All the rain, sideways rain coming at you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. And then like the past few weeks, I mean, it is rainy season, so it wasn't really like a hurricane or tropical storm, but it was nonstop raining, so there's so much floods, so much floods all around. So here we go again. It's hurricane season.
So, like we say on the show all the time, it's better to be prepared. So if you're not, start stocking up now and make sure you have at least, they say 3 days worth of food and water, but I would say I would have at least 10 days.
And make sure you have the fuel to cook it too. If you have, if your house is set up on electrical or even gas, in natural disasters, they'll shut the gas off. Yeah. Have propane on standby. I learned that the hard way a couple years ago. Yeah. When we had that really bad snowstorm here, Cliff.
Yeah.
And it hit Stafford the worst, and like people then were legitimately stranded on the freeway. It made national news.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Stafford was without power for like 4 days. Well, everything in my house is electrical, and I don't have heaters, or I don't have a fireplace or anything.
A generator, you need propane tanks.
Well, I'm in a townhome, so generator isn't necessarily feasible. But our house, luckily, me being the Marine I had a bunch of cold weather gear.
Yeah.
We all slept in the living room on sleeping bags in, my -2 degree sleeping bag. So we were fine, but our house got down into the 40s inside.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And, I had a little propane grill before I bought my smoker. Well, I would take that to work with me when I worked at the mattress place. And we would make lunch there. Like we'd go to Wegmans and buy tri-tip, and we'd have tri-tip for lunch at the mattress store because we were there for 8 to 10 hours a day, sitting on our thumbs doing nothing, so we had the time to do it. Well, when I left the mattress store in 2019, I never took it with me just because I was like, I'll leave it there for them to use. I don't need it. I've got my pellet smoker. Well, my pellet smoker is electrical. So when the power went out, I was like, oh, I really wish I had my grill. So as soon as everything came back on, I went right to it and grabbed it. But it runs off just a little green propane bottles, and I can do 3 or 4 cooks.
Yeah,
I can do 3 or 4 cooks off just one little bottle.
Oh yeah,
those little green bottles, the small.
Yeah.
I have a little electric, or not a little gas stove for that, like the one for camping. Then I have a Blackstone.
But that's propane, so that would have been fun. Yeah. No, it's I make sure I've got 4 propane bottles now stashed specifically for that. And then I still use my pellet smoker for everything else because flavor is amazing, but
But, yeah.
Well, I also want to say so Florida has already declared a state of emergency, and then several different counties have as well. So I'm in Duval County, so our mayor declared a state of emergency. So once that happens, all the emergency services are activated. So if you're going to be in a flood zone, go get those sandbags and fill them up, because they're available. So there's different places. You got to know where the shelters are in case anything happens. So thankfully, we have a great news team here, and they're 24/7. Once the hurricane hits, the entire city is going to be shut down Thursday and Friday. So all it is for us is, again, when we're in a hurricane, hurry up and wait. So that's why people are like, oh, why do you have hurricane parties? Well, what else are we going to do? The whole city's shut down. We're going to hang out in the house and party.
Hey, Len, have you ever seen those quick dam flood bags?
Oh, I have. Yes, I have. Yeah. I have. They're yep. But those I don't think those will come in time. If people are gonna order those now. If you wanted to order that before hurricane season. Yeah. But those do look really good.
One quick note that if you do have the big propane tanks that you get at Home Depot and Lowe's, if they are not more than 10 years old, you can take those to an RV park and get them filled. A lot of your U-Haul places will have areas to refill those propane tanks. So
nowadays, they've got the refill centers at 7-Elevens.
Oh, yeah, they're everywhere now,
tanks. It's like $25. I was sitting in front of one at Wawa today. For a brand new tank, it's like $65. And if you just want to, that's filled too.
Yeah.
But if you want to,
$65 now. So
for the big one, the 5-gallon.
But
the 5-gallon.
That's for the one that you would hook up to your Blackstone.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's to buy the actual tank. Now, if you want to swap it out, it's $25, and they're all like right there. You just walk outside. You don't ever have to talk to anybody that works there. It's wonderful. It's so easy.
Automated. Yeah, some Home Depots have that automated system too.
I see them at 7-Elevens of all places. Wawa's have them. I know you don't have those in Italy anymore. Sorry, Cliff.
Yeah, no. But I get propane tanks at the commissary, and I have a big one on my little Weber gas ring.
There you go.
But I always have one of the little green ones as a backup in my storage shed, even out here. So I have one of those full just in case I forget to fill it up and something happens.
Yeah, exactly.
At least I have that. Or if I want to have a party, I want to take my grill with me so I can make some good bruschetta. Then I can have my grill on hand to grill that bread and cut the tomatoes up and make it good. But yeah, it's super important to be prepared. If you're in that cone of it, now's the time to prepare. I think people in Florida are kind of used to that. And so they kind of get prepared. But as that storm moves up through the Midwest, you guys are prepared for tornadoes, but they come and go very quickly. And sometimes tropical storms can linger. And so you'll have that longer lasting effects. And of course, the soil up there is completely different than what it is down around the ocean. And so the water is going to stand around and soak in and be a little bit different. It's more clary areas up there. As I grew up in the Midwest, so I know about that. So please be prepared. Please be safe. Make sure you have plenty of food. I know at one time, Four Patriots was one of our sponsors. You can go out there and get that dried food that they have. It's really good stuff. And it's just important to always have at least 3 months worth of supplies around your house at all times, so you're always prepared. But with that, Chris the Baker's on. And Chris, last week you were out playing a little bit of golf, I heard.
Yeah, we're all about mental health here, and
call you the Tiger Woods too now. Is that what it is?
God no, no, I'm nowhere near that good. The Big Earl puts me to shame. We'll put it that way. Even after he's had.
He's a big golfer.
No, I play in a men's league, and I play Mondays. That's why sometimes our shows are on Tuesdays because I'm out golfing. But I had a really bad week the week before. I got some bad news at work, and it was just a culmination of things in my life. And so I talked to my boss on Friday. I was like, look, I'm just going to take the day on Monday. I'm not going to work. And it was a mental health day. And there's two things that I do that I can do solo or, with a friend or two. That one of them is decently athletic. The other was very minimal athletic. But both of them are kind of my zen, and they just kind of help me clear my head. It's something I enjoy doing. I shoot pool competitively, and then I play golf.
Yeah.
And being out there in nature playing golf is just, you go play 18 holes and you're just driving through the woods. Yeah. You whack the ball, so you get your aggressions out at the same time. You can just smack the hell out of it. Right. Driving a golf cart, having fun, bumping around and stuff.
Not wrecking the golf cart.
I never have wrecked a golf cart. I have been in a golf cart that wrecked.
Right.
I have never wrecked a golf cart. But I went and played 18 holes at a new course that I found like an hour away from me. And I got a great deal. I only paid $30 for the round. It was wonderful.
Wow.
It was. There's an app called Golf Now that they do hot deals all the time, and this was a hell of a hot deal. So I, jumped right on it. $30 for 18 holes in a cart. I was like, heck yeah. And then don't worry, as much as I hit left and right, I still got plenty of walking in, even though I was driving a cart. You gotta go look at my ball in the woods. But
slice there, slice right.
Exactly. No water balls, thankfully.
That's good.
But I did have to go hunting for a few. But yeah, and then I went and I played my men's league, and we play a beautiful course down in Ruther Glen, Virginia, called Mattapan Spring.
A beautiful area down there.
Oh, anyway. It's so good. This is literally completely surrounded by trees. For those of you that do golf, what slope rating is about. This has the hardest slope rating in the state of Virginia.
Oh, wow.
So it's one of the hardest courses, but it's so much fun. And then I got to do it again yesterday too.
Nice.
So it's a great way to you're getting a little, exercise in, walking around up and down hills. Like I said, if you're like me and slice left and right, you get a little extra walking in there. And then, you're out in nature, getting fresh air, touching grass, literally.
Yeah.
So
Well, it kind of goes with the theme this week, and we'll jump into it more about, the importance of fitness and mental health, and that's great. You were having a bad week, and you took that day for yourself and went and did something you enjoyed, and I'm sure you felt so much better because of it.
I did. I was absolutely exhausted. Like when I work and then go play 9 holes, I'm usually pretty tired at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But after 27 holes straight, because I only had about 40 minutes in between the first 18 and the second 9.
Wow.
And that was literally just enough time to drive there. I showed up to the course 5 minutes before tee time. So I had no break in between. I still had my golf shoes on. I had my golf glove on, and I just jumped in the car and went. Barely made it, but we made it in time. But yeah, it felt good. And, it's nice to be able to get, and we can't do that year round here.
Yeah.
Like I've played in the cold. I played the same course, Mattapanai, in January, and we played early in the morning. It was like 9:30 tee time. We got delayed till 10 o'clock because there was a frost warning. Yeah. So some of not frost, ice.
Yeah. Ice.
Some of the holes you have to go over a bridge to get to the next one or to get to the other side of the fairway. Well, the bridges were still iced over.
Wow.
This was in the middle of January when we had that real bad cold snap. We're out there playing golf in it.
Yeah.
You get up, you get moving enough, you take your windbreaker off or your jacket off, and you're in just your polo. You're plenty warm. It's wonderful.
Oh yeah. I had a great uncle, my great uncle Chris. He had a driving range for everyone. He made custom golf clubs, and then he literally golfed year round there in Kansas City. And he would have hand warmers in his jacket that he put his golf balls in to keep his golf balls warm as he played on the golf courses, because everybody knew him. He was well respected. He was a very well-known golf club maker. He would adjust the clubs to you. You bring him to him. He's a phenomenal person. Yeah. And so they would let him play year-round, even if the greens were frozen or not. They'd let him go out there and play. And this is literally all this guy did. And that's all he ever wanted to do, and that's what he did his whole entire life. And I remember that when I had my appliance store, I would get the old wash machines in, the old timers from the 1920s, where they had the old agitator you could take out, the bathtub washers. Well, I would get those and rebuild them, and I would take it up to him because he would use those to wash the golf balls in, because you could pull the agitator out and then scoop the balls out in the basket. And we all worked on it as kids, driving a little Volkswagen out there in the field to pick up the golf balls, and people were hitting the car and everything. So it was a lot. It was a lot of fun to do that.
Oh, if you go to a driving range and you don't aim for the cart, you're not.
I know something's wrong with that. Yeah, just go ahead and turn your cart in right there.
I have a suggestion. So you guys obviously like golf, right? You know which state has the most golf courses?
Florida. Oh, I'm aware. It's funny. I have a group of friends that I play
Italy
online, and we were just talking. 4 of us on there golf pretty regularly. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, there's an app out there called The Grint, and it's Nick introduced me to it. It's basically Facebook for golfers. Yeah. So you pull it up. It works like a GPS, like any of the other golf apps do, but your friends can actively talk to you while you're playing around. So your friends can actively talk shit to you while you're playing around. Oh, okay. They can follow you. Like I have my grandfather set up with it in California because he was a big golfer. So he's the one that got me into golfing.
Playing with you, but on a different course.
Well, no, he's not even playing. He's just following it.
Oh, okay.
So it does live score updates as you're going, and he can sit there and watch as I post the scores and whatever data I put into it. Like, if I have a water hazard, I can put that on there and he can see it. You can see how many times it takes me to putt and all of that, but you can follow it live, and then you can add friends. Like I'm friends with Nick on there. I'm friends with all these other guys.
What app is it?
It's called The Grint, GRINT. We all decided that next year we're going to do a local meetup. One of us lives in Canada and everybody else is just kind of around the States. But we're gonna do a meetup at a course and everybody else that's part of that community is obviously more than welcome to come with.
Yeah.
But the four of us are going to go, and we're going with the intention of playing golf. So we're going to find somewhere that's like a destination course, like Tobacco Road, or like TCP Sawgrass or somewhere like that.
Yeah, that's 5-10 minutes from me.
or like Pinehurst #2 or something like that. And we're all going to meet up there to just take a weekend and play golf.
I was just listening for TPC Sawgrass, so that's literally 10 minutes from me. And every March, during the spring, they have this huge tournament. But
I grew up close to two of the major courses in the PGA.
Veterans and military get free tickets also.
Yes, we do.
You are. And then
any of them.
A drink voucher.
I don't know about the drink voucher, but yeah, you get free admission into a lot of the major tournaments. But I grew up in Southern California, and I grew up Torrey Pines, where they used to hold the Buick Invitational, and also La Costa Resort. Well, La Costa Resort was a major one. I've actually played La Costa Resort. Their greens fees, if you're not a member, it's like $800.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
I think that's how much it is at TPC also. It's very expensive.
Oh,
but
they're such gorgeous.
To play also.
Yeah.
So, who's calling me from Philly? Weird.
Oh, that's cool. I learned something new today. Yeah, I used to golf a lot when my grandfather was alive. We'd get together every Sunday, and I was getting really good at it. I would take professional golf lessons prior to, and then we'd go play afterwards. And it was so funny because my older brother had been playing for years. In a very short amount of time, I got a lot better than he did. He used to make him mad, but he was easy to beat because you just get him pissed off, and then he would just his whole game would go to crap. So I would just make fun of him the whole time, and it was kind of funny to watch him get so.
We do.
But the golf pro gave me this. This is the best tip ever. He says if you haven't played for a while or you're having issues and problems, he says the best thing you can do is take your club and lightly set it on the ground and drag it straight behind the ball for about 8 inches. And he says what that does is that allows you to keep your shot lined up as you go back up and swing. And if you haven't played for a while, I've always kept that in my mind because there's times we'll go to the driving range and we'll do this, that, and the other. And, I remember that. And then, he says, don't swing hard, do a couple good swings and then start swinging. But if you drag that club straight back behind that ball, that kind of helps line your club up as you go back for your swing. I always thought that was good advice to take. And that matters whether you're hitting your irons or you're hitting your woods or what. It doesn't matter. What did you say, Lynn? Sorry.
I said, I'm going to remember that when I go to Top Golf because I'm so clumsy. I'm terrible. I always feel like I'm going to fall into the netting,
Yeah.
You guys been to Top Golf, right?
Yeah, so just drag that club slowly back.
Amanda loves going. She doesn't golf. She'll go with me, and she drives the cart and reads her book and helps me with the ball and all that. But she doesn't actually golf ever, but she loves to go to Top Golf, and she whoops our butts sometimes on those games. Like Angry Birds and stuff. We started making her have to play the intermediate because the beginner, she just started whooping us. We're out here playing the advanced, so we're 200 yards out, and she's on that beginner and just demolishing us. It's like, what's up?
That's funny.
She's a natural, it seems.
Yeah.
So, that's, hey, there's always fun things to go out there for exercise. It doesn't have to mean going to the gym. It doesn't mean having to lift weights or running or anything like that. It could be going out for golfing. It could be playing volleyball, going for a walk. It could be many different things. That's good for your mental health to get out and do stuff. To guys giving an update, if you've seen my post lately on Facebook, I've been volunteering at Kenya Restaurant, and so I'm actually I did waiter for one time, and then I moved into the kitchen, and I'm staying in the kitchen. I'm not going to be a waiter no more. And my friend Pepe asked me, he says, Cliff, so which do you like working better? And I was like, the kitchen. The kitchen's easy. You just have to worry about the food and others. I'm not saying easy. It's just a different type of easy. But the person there on the white, that's Antonio. He is the owner. And then the person in between us, that's Lilo. He is the main chef in the back. He cooks all the pasta. He doesn't do the pizzas. We have a separate pizza maker for that. And then there's me standing there not to screw things up. But I will tell you, it's hard work. We're making cortadas there. We're rolling them. It's a potato and cheese dish. He just just made that, and so we're rolling them up for the next day, and those get fried. And so I'm really learning a lot about how to make, authentic Neapolitan, Italian food. And to me, it's enjoyable. It's very hard work. I don't get paid for it. I just volunteer, and I'm so thankful they let me to go and do that. But along with that, is I teach them how to cook steaks, right? Because they do sell steaks there. They cut the steaks fresh. It's a 40-day aged steak, and it's interesting because the Italian medium is different than the American medium, right? And so we know the American medium, it's red in the center and warm, but no blood, right? That's your general medium steak. And Italian, a medium steak is like medium well or well. It's hey Chris, thanks for tuning in. He had to jump off and get back in the background, but thanks for updating the golf. Appreciate that. But yeah, so and so I had to have a talk with Antonio, obviously the owner, to talk about how to cook the steaks properly, because I was cooking them the American way. Of course, the Italians would have done a little bit more, and then vice versa, they were cooking the American steaks a little bit too much. And so we both kind of got to learn from each other on how to cook the steak. So that's kind of fun. But I really enjoy that. It's hard work, but it's something different, right? It's something I've always wanted to do my whole entire life and never been able to. And now I'm able to do it now. I don't know if the wife's so happy about me working so many hours Wednesday through Friday, but
Is it just dinner time?
I cook dinner before I leave. So that's all done. So at least that's done. And she doesn't have to worry about cooking dinner. So.
Oh, do you do it during dinner time? Like the dinner rush?
Yeah. So what I do is they open at 4 and they do all the prep work. They open at 4, but the restaurant doesn't officially open until 5. I go in at 6, so that way I can get dinner cooked here and get Lloyd taken care of. There's not a whole lot for me to go in, so that's why I don't go in until 6. And then I'm usually there from 6 at night until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. They close at midnight. Yeah, we close at midnight, but literally Antonio if somebody walks in at 5 minutes till midnight, he won't shut the kitchen down. He'll serve the full menu. And I will tell you what this man does, and it's pretty impressive, Lynn, is any service member that walks in there, he will turn that pizza oven back on and he will make them a pizza, whatever they want, because I've seen this man do it before I worked there. I was there one day. I was standing in line waiting to pay my check. A young sailor came in. He tried to run his Navy Federal credit card ATM thing, and it wasn't working. And I was just going to pay for his meal. He could, he was tired. He's a security guy. He'd been working 12-hour shift. He's got probably cranky kids at home. He's trying to get 2 pizzas. And Antonio said, hey, don't worry about it. I got it. Just take him and go. And he's done that several times. And so this is, that says a lot, not only about him, but the Kenya restaurant and his character as a person to, he could very easily not have done that. A lot of restaurants don't do that. And he caters to the Americans as much as he caters to the Italians, he caters to the Americans just as much, because a lot of Americans do go to that restaurant. But I'm so thankful that, to be able to work for him and honored, because, that just kind of hits home. He's taking care of, a fellow service member, but a service member from not even his country.
Yeah, he's just being a good human to other humans.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's all about being human, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So part of the community. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're right off base now, so they're like 2-3 miles off base, maybe 2 kilometers. I don't think they're that far. And so that's so it's kind of funny that I'm back there in the kitchen and they have a little window cut out and people can see me back there, and the Americans are like, is that American? And the Italians are like, is that American back there? So it's kind of funny. Of course, I don't have any interactions with the customer unless a friend or somebody comes in. But I did have a quite honor the other day. I did have somebody come in. He was an American. He asked if I was in the kitchen. They said yes. And he ordered a steak only because I was in the kitchen, because he knew I would make it correctly. And so that was so that made me feel good. That he ordered a steak so I could make. Of course, he wanted it done well, which kind of made me sad, and I cried the whole time I was cooking this perfect Irish.
Oh my gosh!
This Irish ribeye, and I'm like, I can't do it.
Throw him out.
You a drink or something as I'm sitting there and making it into leather. But I cooked it the way he wanted it. It was done well, and he ate it and enjoyed it. So, but it did make me very sad because I don't ever cook steaks that way. There's only 3 ways to cook a steak, right? Rare, medium rare, and all the other ones are just crap. So
right, exactly. Oh my gosh.
but it is a lot of fun. It helps with my mental health. And it also helps me learn the Italian language because in the kitchen nobody speaks English,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's forcing me to learn not only Italian but the Neapolitan Italian, because here they speak Italian a little bit differently. That's kind of the country they call it here, but they
Mm-hmm.
pronounce words differently than they do in other parts of Italy. And so it's really helping me learn that dialect, and I really want to learn that dialect. And so I'm getting pretty good at listening to conversations and understanding what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But if I don't, I just pull up Google Translate. I always have it up in the kitchen because if the sous chef or if Layla, the chef, says something I don't understand it, they're like, Cliff, give me your phone, and they'll type it in and we'll figure it out. I mean, I've only been doing it for 3 weeks now, but it's really fun. What's nice, Lynn, is at the end of the night they all sit down and they have a meal. So Layla will cook a pasta meal or they'll cook a pizza for everybody, and they'll sit down, they'll eat together. No matter how busy it is, they all sit down and eat together after everything's cleaned up. And let me tell you what, they anally clean this kitchen and this restaurant. They clean it the night before, and then they clean it again before they open, spotless. But they all sit down and eat together. And the other day, I introduced them to Frito pie. They never had Frito pie, so I made homemade chili and took in and had the Frito chips with the chili and the green onions and the sour cream. And I grilled the jalapenos and chopped them all up and put on if they wanted first of all, they don't eat jalapenos, so they really don't see them. And it was interesting to watch Antonio and Lilo watch me grill the jalapenos on the grill. It was at the end of the night because they had never seen that before, so that was kind of interesting. And it's amazing they liked it.
Frito pie is a comfort food in the South.
Yeah.
So
that's what I told them. It's not something you gotta find, but if you're watching football or getting together, somebody will make some Frito pie or nachos or whatever. So I always try to make them a American dish every now and then. I'll make it at the house and take it in.
The weirdest thing I ever saw with chili, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but like when I'm thinking about chili now, because I remember comfort food, right? So when I was in Nebraska, their comfort food there is chili and then a Cinnabon, like a cinnamon roll. And like it was the strangest, like 2 different combinations. Some people eat the chili with the cinnamon bun, or some people eat the cinnamon after, but it was a very strange combination. It's super popular in the Midwest, especially in Nebraska. So Lincoln, Nebraska, and then where else? What's the other city there? Omaha.
When I was in Minnesota doing a speak event, there was a chili dish they ate in Minnesota, and for the life of me, I don't remember what it was, but it was really good.
Yeah.
And they all talked about it. They're ready to do it. Yeah, you gotta have it. And I had it. It was really good. But yeah, so there's different versions of chili. So they really liked the chili. I think the most favorite thing that I cooked so far for them that they liked was the ribs and the barbecue beans, the barbecue ribs and the barbecue beans.
Nice.
That was probably the most favorite thing.
We should take a vote on what you cook for them next.
I know, we talked about that. And so I said, just tell me what you want and I'll fix it. And I need to teach them how to make a good hamburger. They don't sell a lot of hamburgers, but every now and then they do sell
burgers with the onions. Oof.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Oh, yeah.
That would be great.
Mama, yeah. But I'm getting very good at cutting tomatoes. I probably cut 1,000 tomatoes so far, and making bruschetta and other dishes they allow me to make. And now I'm getting ready I can dabble in the desserts some. So I'm decorating the desserts when they order them to go out.
Nice.
But one thing about Italy is, fortunately, they don't have the chemicals in the food here. It's outlawed. So everything's very fresh. Everything's very, it's interesting, Lynn. I went back and I've been doing speaking events this month, obviously with Suicide Prevention Month. And I've been doing online events, and I've been showing my documentary that I won the Emmy for on the Able Child Surviving Suicide. If you go back and look at that video, I look so much younger now, 4 years later, than I did in that video. And the only thing that's changed is the food, is what I'm eating. It absolutely shocked me how much different I looked. Obviously, I've lost weight and a little bit, but yeah, I was just amazed by that. Man, it's just got to be the food here. It's just sad, really. But I hope they make that change eventually, where they can get the chemicals out of the food down in America and really make it better and healthier as it should be. Because everything really
that starts becoming political because of the FDA, and then all of the people who have their hands in the pockets or whatever. So, and who's
when you say that Trix cereal is more healthier than steak, then I have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all. And then you find out all this stuff. But we're not going to go into all that because we hit on it some this week. My theme's about mental health and physical fitness, and we did talk about that some tonight as far as golfing. Me going working in the restaurant. I have worked core muscles in my body that I haven't worked for. My hands are sore. My lower abdominals are sore just because I'm working different muscles. I'm standing on my feet for 12 hours a day, which I haven't done since the military. And it's really made my body sore. And I was kind of surprised by that, but it's not a bad sore. It's a good sore, right? And I still work out. I ran 6.5 kilometers the other day. So I'm still doing my running and stuff, but I tell you what, I'm exhausted at the end of the day working. But, with mental health, it's always important to do some type of physical activity. Lynn, you have injuries. I have injuries, and we have to work around those. We have good days and bad days with them. And you can always find something you can do. Even if it's just like going to the beach, Lynn, like you love going to the beach. That's exercise. That's, putting your feet in the sand, grounding, walking around, visiting with people. I mean, that's not sitting on the couch watching TV.
I got pummeled by a wave the other day. Unexpectedly. So, thankfully I'm physically fit enough to get out of it. But yeah, the beach is definitely fun. I know a few nights ago was a lunar eclipse, and I was able to be on the beach to just watch it and look at the moon, which was really pretty cool to look at while at the beach at night. So.
Oh, absolutely. I was at the beach just yesterday here with Lloyd. He got out of school half day. I took him and two of his friends from school. I said, hey, let's go to the beach on Monday. And so I took them up to the beach, and we spent a couple hours there. And I did a Facebook Live video. So if you go to my Clifford Ballman, not the VTT mental health one, but the other Facebook page, my personal one, I did a Facebook Live page. And the reason I did Facebook Live was because it's September 23rd. Today's the 24th. And we were on the beach. It was nice. It was 80 degrees. It was sunny. And there was nobody on the beach but us. Literally nobody on the beach but us. So if you want to come visit Italy, now's the perfect time to visit. It does rain a little bit, but that's not too bad. But the weather here is perfect. And I'm telling you, if you can come to Italy in December, especially if you want to hit a lot of the tourist areas, down here in the south, it doesn't get that cold. It's cold for Floridians, but it's in the 50s and 60s during the day. By March, it's getting up close to 70 again. And so, those are good times to come and visit Italy. But hey, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get this show wrapped up. Lynn, do you have any parting words before I do all of our things? Why don't you tell us about VTT and some of the great t-shirts they have?
I just want to reiterate, if you have anybody in your life that's a veteran or anyone that's struggling at all to get any kind of housing, just check out HUD.gov. And then also in the comments, Chris put the phone number 877-4-AID-VET. And that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for VASH vouchers for veterans. But yeah, check out our store at VeteranTrashTalk.com. You can see our number one selling shirt, Quit Being a Triggered Pansy. And then right there, it says Get the Demons Out. Right there, there's a code down there for you. Yeah. It's on the screen. But if you're just listening to the podcast, VeteranTrashTalk.com. On there, you can find our shop, all our merch, and all our podcasts. That's it.
That's right. Well, thanks for that. And, along with that, you get their QR code up there in the upper left for Wreaths Across America. You can scan over that, and you can donate as little as $5 to ensure that the wreath is on a veteran's tombstone during the holiday season. Super great program. But along with that, as you know, Wreaths Across America replaced my podcast, mine and Lynn's podcast, at Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. You just download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the Odyssey app. Search for Wreaths Across America Radio, where you listen to our great program, but also all the other great programs they have out there. And so with that, it is Suicide Awareness Month still, the month of September. So like Lynn was saying, we are our brothers and sisters keepers. So let's just pay a little extra time out there and just make sure everybody's doing okay. School's back in session now. For a lot of parents, they get a lot of free time now because the kids are in school, and so maybe the demons are trying to crawl back in. And so let's just keep them at an arm's length, and just know that you're not alone out there. That we all out here, we all have a big community, and we're here to help each other. And with that, you guys have a great, wonderful week. I'll be continuing my post about fitness and mental health, and with my mental health breaks and all the other postings. And everybody take care, and we'll talk to you next week. Are we doing the show on Tuesday next week? I don't remember. I'll post about it. I don't know if it's Tuesday or Monday, because with Chris and his golf, I don't remember.
Stay for a little bit for a message from Ken with the Veterans Mortgage.
What's up, Trash Talkers? What's up, Gruntworks Nation? How do you hire the right financial advisor? In this video, that's going to be somewhere up here when they put the QR code up there. Just scan it or go to our YouTube channel, all right, and you'll be able to download it. In that video, questions are asked and answered about finding the right financial advisor for you and your loved ones. What license do they hold? The crucial factor can provide you with a sense of security and confidence in your financial advisor. What is their experience? See if they have any written complaints in the disclosures. Why is it in your best interest to work with a fiduciary? This role is crucial as it ensures that your advisor working in your best interest, fostering trust and transparency in the advisor-client relationship. Understanding the advisor's process for developing your financial plan is also important. Do they conduct a thorough financial assessment, discuss your goals, and then create a personalized plan? This insight can give you a clear picture of their approach and thoroughness. Find out how to do your own research and security representatives. Illustrating their complaint record, licenses held, time in profession, and more. If you haven't been watching, we have done 2 of a 3-part series with Army veteran Ken. All right, again, go to that QR code right there. If it's not there, it was there earlier, or go to our YouTube channel, and we will give you all the financial advice that you need. Also help you find the right financial advisor. Stay tuned. Check out for the events for our 3rd of the 3-part series.